Hi everyone, this is Dr. Edwards and I am so excited to share 6 tips for millennials to utilize when they are communicating with different generations in the workplace. So this will be a very short and quick periscope, but I wanted to share these tips with you. So again, there are 6 and my name is Dr. Jennifer Edwards and I'm with the Texas Social Media Research Institute and we're located in Stephenville, Texas at Tarleton State University. And I also serve as, hello Dr. Tanter, how are you? How was your trip? I also serve as an associate professor of communication in the communication studies department. So 6 tips for millennials to utilize when communicating with different generations in the workplace. Okay, so tip number 1. The first tip is to ask about their, to ask about their preferred technology. Many different individuals in the workplace, no matter their culture or their generation, have different preferred technologies that they utilize when communicating with others. So make sure that you know who your email people are. Most of the people that I work with are mostly email people. I have like 1 or 2 Twitter people, and those are most of the program specialists as well as the coordinators in our department. But most of the people that I work with, and especially with my supervisor, they are email people. So I always communicate with them on email. But if I'm communicating with my students, I know that their preferred technology is mostly Twitter and also Instagram. So know their preferred technology. Number 2, you might be asked to do a training session. Lately, I've been asked to do some training sessions for individuals who don't know how to use Twitter, or even for college students who don't know how to use email. So like ways to attach a document or things of that nature. So you might be asked to say, if there is a technology that you want to be utilized in the workplace, you might be asked to train people on that technology or to give some simple tips. So that was number 2. Number 2, know that you will be asked to do a training session, more likely than not. Number 3 is to know the goals of the conversation. Each conversation has different goals. So know that based on your conversation with your superior, that he or she might have different goals for that conversation. So within that goal for that conversation, that will drive the usage of the technology. So whether it's Twitter, Instagram, email, telephone, so on and so forth, know the goals, or even a face-to-face communication situation, know the goals of that conversation and have that goal drive which communication technology you decide to utilize. Especially for millennials, we are definitely, I will admit, I don't like the telephone as much as I used to. So it's much easier for me to send a message to someone on Twitter or on email. So know the goals of the conversation. So if it's a quick, fast message, yes, a Twitter message or an email will suffice. But if it is something that is a situation that you really need to talk about and brainstorm, I would have to say that the telephone or a face-to-face conversation or a group meeting would be the best for that situation. Also, to know about the work-life balance piece. Work-life balance is a goal for many millennials. So to know with the work-life balance goals that you will utilize some technologies all of the time in order to achieve what you want. For example, you could possibly get an email at midnight. I will admit that I used to send emails at midnight or at 1 o'clock in the morning because, I communicated with my students that way, and that was when I was awake. But I had to step back, and when I had a child, I had to realize that I can't do that anymore. So to complete that work-life balance, especially in the workplace and when you're working with other generations, just know that you email between 8 and 5, and any other emails that I have to send, I save it to draft form because everyone is not on my schedule. And I respect schedules, I respect vacation time, I respect sick time. So just to know that your communication goals are not the same communication goals, or your time frame is not their time frame. So to achieve that work-life balance. And so that was number 4. Number 5, know that millennials are idea generation people. They will be the people that are really excited at the meeting, usually. Not all the time, but usually. They will be the people that are really excited about different concepts and brainstorming and idea generation. And I heard a new term this week, engineering. And so, not engineering, but imagineering. And it was all focused on imagining new ways to tackle situations. So just to know that millennials are going to be probably your excited people in the meetings, and to know that your excited personality is not always appreciated by others, which could be good, could be something you have to work on or a constructive thing, but just to know that within the ideas that you come up with, that there could possibly be a negative perception of that. So I've had to pull back on my excited nature, and so that's why in most meetings, and I'm in the meetings with people who are older than I am, I would write down my ideas on paper. If I'm really excited about something, then I'll write about it later if there's something that I'm really, really excited about. So maybe to try to contain your energy as a millennial. I know it's hard. I know we get excited about everything, but just to contain that energy. And then also focus on the implementation of that idea whenever you arrive back at the office. And that was number 5. And number 6 is to know that the telephone is there and you might have to use it every once in a while, but to know that the generations that you communicate with in the workplace, they might be telephone people or they might not be telephone people, but to know that you do have to use the telephone every now and then. And it just really, a conversation that I had last week just really brought this concept home for me, because they asked me what my home telephone number was, and I had to think about it, because I rarely give my home telephone number out, because people rarely call millennials on their home phone. And yes, I do have a home phone for emergencies. We do have our share of tornadoes and water-related activity in Central Texas. But, just to know that you might have to use the telephone to communicate with people of different ages in the workplace. And just, again, to go over those 6 tips, and then I'll ask if you have any questions. But the first tip is to know the preferred technology of the people in your office. The second tip is to know that you might have to train other people on how to utilize the technology. Then the third tip is to know the goals of the conversation. The fourth tip is to focus on work-life balance, and you might have to save that email to drafts before sending it, because number 1, you might have to think about it. Number 2, it's always good to know that you will send it at 8 o'clock in the morning versus 10 o'clock at night. And 8 o'clock in the morning, multiple generations are more likely to pay attention to that message than the message that you send late at night. So believe me, tried and true thing. Number 5 was ideas and implementation, maybe containing that energy and writing it down and then speaking with the group later that might appreciate that idea. And then number 6 is to know that you might have to use the telephone every now and then, and the telephone is probably not going to be your smartphone, but the telephone in your office. So to know that you will have to use the voice feature on your telephone every now and then. So I will pause to see if you have any questions or any additional tips on to add to the list of 6 tips for millennials to communicate with multiple generations in the workplace. And as you're thinking about it and typing, let me just tell you about an upcoming conference that we're having on Friday, November the 6th in Fort Worth. We will have the 5th annual Texas Social Media Research Institute conference. And that conference will feature everything from Periscope, yeah, case in point, Periscope, to Twitter, to monetizing your blog, to social media research, to integrating social media into your classroom. So we have people from all over the South coming to the conference, as well as some northern states as well. So if you want more information about that, just go to txsocialmedia.org and you can receive more information on the social media conference. And I don't see any questions, so I see that as my cue to let you guys know that this video will be posted a little bit later, and you will also have 24 hours to view the video as well. So just swipe your screen sideways and share it with other people, and I look forward to interacting with you guys on Twitter. My name is DRJT Edwards. Have a good day.